Hello there, people of the universe. My name is MichSciFi, and can we just for a moment look at the date? The 23rd of November, 2023. 60 years since the inception, the birth of the greatest science fiction TV show, not just in British history, but in the history of the whole world. Doctor Who turns 60 years old today. Not only that, in a couple of days, David Tennant will be back on our screens as the Doctor. Yes, my grin could not get any fucking wider. To say I'm excited. I cannot fucking wait. Doctor Who is back on Saturdays. David Tennant is back. And just in time for the 60th anniversary. I remember 10 years ago, a fucking decade ago. I am 25 right now. 10 years ago. That blows my mind. It truly blows my mind. Yeah, 10 years ago, the 50th anniversary, Day of the Doctor. I remember being so giddy in my other room. Not this one, my older one. Watching the 50th with my mum in full costume. And when it went back in time to 1562 and it panned across to seeing Ten's box, I remember being so excited. And then when he came out on the horse and just shouted, "Alonzi!" I remember I probably squeaked. And it was so nice to see him again. And not only that, not only David Tennant being a part of the 50th anniversary, it was such a mind-blowing experience because while I'd grown up with RTD1, Series 1, 2, so on and so forth, I always had an inkling that there was this massive history to this conglomerate. Is that the right word? I hope it is. I wanted to use the word. It just sounded like a nice word. But like this colossal icon. While Series 1 was where I started, my earliest memory of Doctor Who is, I don't remember how old I was, but it must have been 5 or 6, roughly. I remember watching the 5 Doctors. I'm not sure how. I'm not sure if it was on VHS, on repeat. I don't think they did repeats back then. But I remember vividly watching the scene in the 5 Doctors where the Dalek explodes. And as the dome and neck section, like the dome flies off and then the neck just collapses, and then we see the mutant having a last breath of life before dying. And I just remember vividly this is an amazing bit of demonstration, but I remember the appendages of the car-led mutant just throwing itself through a loop, for lack of a better word, and that has always stuck with me. And I don't know how. I don't know when I can't remember how old I was when I saw that. But it's why when I first saw the Daleks in Series 1, I knew what they were straight away. And there's just something about Doctor Who. And I hope there are people watching who can say in the comments, who can relate in the comments. But there's just something about this show that it gets inside your head. Think of it as the TARDIS translation circuits. It gets inside your head and just worms its way into the very fibre of your being. I hope I'm making sense. Many might be like, this is just a TV show. But it's a part of me. I have no shame and no restraint in saying that if I had never watched Doctor Who, I would not be alive to this day. I wouldn't. That is a straight fucking fact. And the impact, the changes on my life that Doctor Who has had, specifically David Tennant. I know I was going to try and segue off of him and go on to more just Doctor Who in general, but if you don't mind me segueing back to being a David Tennant stan, well, not stan, but you know what I mean. The changes and impact David Tennant has had on my life, on the way I act, the way I talk. There'll be moments when I'm recording videos with friends, like a Devour episode that's on the channel. There's a moment in it where Raw said, "Did you just go full on Tennant?" And I was like, wait, no, why? What did I say? And both him and Dan were like, did you not realise what you just did? I was like, no. And then I remember when I edited that video, I was like, I didn't notice that. There'll be moments where I will put on Ten's voice and I'll not realise I'm doing it. There have been times in school or even college where I've been asked, are you putting on a voice to hide your accent? I was like, what do you mean? And people would, believe it or not, presume I was from Scotland and that I was putting on a voice to disguise it. And I still, to this day, when I do it, I don't realise I'm doing it. It's just growing up watching the 10th Doctor, learning his mannerisms, learning his voice, dressing like him, gelling my hair like him. When I would get glasses, I'd make sure they matched his. He really has been a footnote in my life. And to this day, to this very second, I always strive to make the 10th Doctor, make my Doctor proud. For all the mistakes I've made, I always strive to be better, not just for myself, which is something we should all strive to be better for ourselves, but I strive to make my hero proud because he gave me a reason to go on. So the least I can fucking do to repay him is make that a life that was worth saving, if that makes sense. And I don't get too deep in case anyone feels uncomfortable, so I do apologise, but I do want to make clear how important and how special it is to me that David Tennant is back. And it's why, despite all my issues and problems with the 13th Doctor, the fact that there are people out there who have the connection to her that I have to David is why I will always, believe me or not, it's why I will always respect Jodie Whittaker and what she tried to do. Because if there are people out there who can connect with her Doctor the way I connected with David, or the way I do connect with David's Doctors, 10 and 14, then all the power to them. All the power to them. But yeah, it always brings a smile to my face and tears to my eyes when people talk about what their individual Doctor means to them, whether it's Chris, David, Matt, Peter, Jodie, or any of the others, William, Patrick, John, Tom, Peter, Colin, Sylve, Paul, John, Hurt, Joe Martin, any of the unbound ones like Richard E. Grant, or just anyone in this 60-year legacy that has worn the title or upheld the title, sorry. It's why I've got such fucking hopes for Ncuti Gatwa's 15th Doctor. The way I always saw New Who was Chris Eccleston lit the flame. He gave it such a bright spark. And then David Tennant took the torch and ran with it. And then now with RTD2, David is lighting the flame. And then Ncuti is not only going to carry the torch, he's going to throw gasoline on that flame. And it's going to go up. It's going to explode. David Tennant, for me, the most iconic Doctors are Tom Baker of the classic era and David Tennant of the new era. I just feel that Ncuti Gatwa is going to be the most iconic Doctor of the era going forward. I don't want to say he'll be more iconic than David, because the 7-year-old in me is saying, don't you dare, David Tennant is the man. But something about everything we've seen or heard for Ncuti's Doctor, whether it be the suave fashion sense, the overwhelming acting talents of Ncuti, or just the unlimited respect and faith I have in Russell. But I genuinely cannot wait to see where we're going to be in 3 years' time. In a year's time. In about 3 weeks, I'll be crying over David's regeneration. But I'll be excited for Ncuti. For Christmas. For Series 1. Or 14, however you want to word it. Like, as we celebrate 60 years. And I want you guys in the comments to tell me what has been your most powerful, most important memory of these 60 years. And it doesn't matter if you've been a fan since you were a child, or if you've only been a fan for the past 3 years, or the past year, or if you're just now getting into Doctor Who, which if you are, get ready for a fucking roller coaster of emotions, running, monsters, and learning the hard way that the Doctor will always regenerate. But yeah, happy birthday, Doctor Who. Thank you so much for everything you've done for me, all the lessons you've taught me, all the guidance you've given me. David Tennant, thank you for being my Doctor. Matt Smith, thank you for making me realise the Doctor may change faces, but he's still the same man. Thank you, Peter Capaldi, for being one of the most upstanding custodians of the role. And thank you, Jodie Whittaker, for, while not connecting with me, thank you for connecting with a new generation of fans that are now part of this amazing show's fandom. And Ncuti Gatwa, best of luck. You are going to be outstanding, and I cannot wait to see where that old blue box takes us next. And it goes without saying, Verity Lambert, Waris Hussein, Sidney Newman, William Hartnell, and everybody else who has been involved with Doctor Who, past, present, and future, even to Chris Chibnall, thank you for the love you've put into this show, because I wouldn't have missed it for the world. Thank you guys for watching. Take care, be kind, be good to one another, and I'll see you very soon. Alonzi!
I'm a living legend. You ain't heard yet, you not get the message. From the moment that I'm stepping in, I get a couple weapons. Yeah, I turn to a beast when I'm rapping. I'm a living legend.